And then let's cap things off with a little bit of a negative. But the biggest disappointment team, Alex, is two teams that didn't make appearances on at least your team didn't make an appearance on my list. My team didn't make an appearance on my top 5 list as well in the power rankings, and it's almost like there's a reason that I didn't have the Green Bay Packers on my week 1 power rankings. That's just because it's not like they're a bad team. Alex, you laid out perfectly of why they can contend for a Super Bowl or why they might just be contending for another NFC Championship game loss. But for me, with the Packers going to the season, we all saw the drama. We all saw the news. There was so much damn turmoil this offseason. It looked like a drama made for TV. And Aaron Rodgers played his role perfectly there. It was just bad from front office down. It was a really bad look, at least perception-wise. Ultimately, they were able to work things out enough where we can get this last dance with Aaron Rodgers, possibly Devonta Adams as well. So, Packers, you better try to succeed this year, but I think there's just so much going on there. Can they actually win an NFC Championship game? Probably not. They've lost 3 straight, and it's not like this team doesn't have talent. The Packers might have one highest ceilings in the league, but I think that this year they also have one of the lowest floors ultimately as well.
I completely disagree with you on that one. If Aaron Rodgers starts at least 16 games this year, I can guarantee you they have at least 10 wins.
At least 10 wins.
Guaranteed. 10-7 gets the job done in the NFC this year. I mean, to me, 10-7 is their floor if Aaron Rodgers plays at least 16 games. That's their floor.
You said the bar that low for the NFC again?
I just think with you got 7 playoff teams, you're not going to have. I mean, last year the NFC was extremely competitive, but you have the fringe teams like the Cardinals, like the Bears, like, even when you go to the NFC East is the worst division in football. Yeah. The NFC South, I feel like, is not a great division either.
You got 2 teams there. That's about it.
Yeah, so I mean, the Packers, just by default, are going to be in the playoff position. Yeah. And with Aaron Rodgers in there, they're going to have at least a high floor of 10 wins. And 10 wins is plenty to get in the playoffs. So if Aaron Rodgers goes down, they're one of the worst tems in the league.
Oh, Jordan Love is not ready to be a starter in the NFL. Oh,
no chance.
No, still one to. Hey, Alex, remember how they actually traded up for him? I know that's beat to hell, but you still got to remember that they traded up for Jordan Love.
I mean, looking back a year and a half later, it still looks really bad.
It almost looks really worse.
It looks worse. It does look worse. It does look worse.
But Alex, your most disappointing team. Let's hear it.
And this is a team I really love and enjoy watching. Mm-hmm. And this team's won 20 straight games in the preseason. But I'm worried about the Ravens this year. I really am. And the two biggest things, I think J.K. Dobbins was a problem. I think he is one of the best pure runners in the NFL. And losing him does not help anything. Mm-hmm. You lose 2 of your most impactful defensive players in Matt Judon and Yannick Ngakoue. Ngakoue you can replace. Judon is an absolute monster, and that's going to be a big hole on that defense. And you don't have the type of offensive weaponry outside of Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews to put fear into defenses. And even with Rashad Bateman being on the shelf early on the IR list, you just don't have as many players that put fear into defenses. And I'm worried about in that division, they could potentially be the 3rd worst team in that division. And the Browns, on paper, significantly more talented than them. The Steelers and the Ravens, I'm not bought on, obviously, but
I hate the Steelers this season.
But they're in that same boat of, they don't have elite skill players anymore. So when you're going up against a defense like the Steelers or a defense like the Browns, unless Lamar Jackson is doing Lamar Jackson things, they're going to have a tough time moving the ball on them periodically down the field, and they don't have the defense to be able to keep teams to 17, 20 points a game. So, when you have an MVP on your roster and it's at the most important position on the field, you have a high ceiling inherently. But I'm worried that they just don't have enough firepower or a strong enough defense to be able to compete with some of those upper echelon AFC teams.
Yeah, it's a shame they weren't able to get Juju during the offseason, man. It's crazy to think that he was that close, or maybe even like a Sammy Watkins, or just like a speedy outside receiver, something to help complement Hollywood Brown there. Obviously, that's probably the biggest hole in the Ravens, and they couldn't foresee that. They should have drafted at least. They couldn't foresee J.K. Dobbins going down, which is just so damn unfortunate there.
Sucks.
And that's a 100%. That's just a bummer, man. Like I know it's just a super. It sounds like a bad word there, but that's like the ultimately the only way I could describe this. It's just a bummer. That'd be like losing Tom Brady or something like that. It would just be a bummer. Like honestly.